When telling the story of the Night of 1,000 Tears in the Book of Boba Fett Episode 5, the armourer mentions that Din Djarin's Mandalorian tribe, the Children of the Watch, were not killed in the Great Purge because they had been cloistered on the moon of Concordia. Why were they on Concordia, though? As she says, Concordia is a moon of Mandalore itself, but it has a pretty important place in recent Mandalorian history. This quick statement confirms or at least reinforces a lot of what we already know about the Children of the Watch, who are essentially on the far end of Mandalorian traditional militarist hardliners. Concordia was originally covered in forests, however heavy mining to support Mandalorian war efforts impacted the moon's ecology. When Mandalore was ravaged by the civil war between the traditionalist warriors and the new Mandalorians, which ended 42 years before the Battle of Yavin, the victorious new Mandalorians decided that the warriors must not be allowed to remain on Mandalore proper. The cloistering, which the armourer referred to, which could almost sound like a self-imposed experience for the group, considering their fanatical devotion to the Way as an almost religious group, was actually far more likely part of this exile imposed by the new Mandalorians. Despite the assumptions that the warrior culture had died out, or at least receded heavily, in reality the governor of Concordia, Pre Vizsla, was leading a resurgent Death Watch faction hidden in the planet's mines. We don't know when exactly the Children of the Watch came about, but from the name it seems like a related group or an offshoot of the Death Watch, possibly even a splinter group from when Darth Maul took over just before the Purge. This is supported by the membership of Paz Vizsla from the show in both the Children of the Watch and Clan Vizsla, claiming to essentially be the rightful heir to Mandalorian Jedi Tar Vizsla's Darksaber, continuing the belief that the Death Watch, particularly Clan Vizsla, should be the true rulers of Mandalore. It is unclear though at which point the views of the Children of the Watch were re-established, if they were re-established at all. Considering it's called the Way of the Mandalore according to Din, you'd expect that it was probably at least adhered to by one of the ruling Mandalores, though presumably a long time ago. It's possible, therefore, that this sect has existed in some form for generations, leading back to the original Mandalorians or Mandalorian Wars. But it's also possible it was re-established by hardliners in response to their defeat at the hands of the new Mandalorians, potentially believing their lack of adherence in recent times had been the cause for their numerous defeats. We already see how the Armourer, for example, talks about Bo-Katan Kryze breaking with tradition by accepting the Darksaber without winning it herself, though Bo-Katan and other Mandalorians seem to also buy into this one, but we also get other superstitious elements of their beliefs. Presumably as Din's story follows more of this separation from his prior life and this particular clan's ways, we'll be able to see more of the Mandalorian life outside of the Children of the Watch and have further contrasts with their history and beliefs, so we'll have to see where that goes. Considering Din's lack of awareness of other Mandalorian group practices, especially when he meets Bo-Katan, the cloistering does seem to have gone further than the regular exile of the other Mandalorian warriors. Death Watch during the Clone Wars and in episodes of Rebels later on did take off their own helmets, and we're certainly aware of groups like Bo-Katan's Night Owls in a way that Din isn't, though the Armourer and other members of his clan seem to be, so maybe it's just a Din thing. But Bo-Katan was incidentally a member of Death Watch herself. One of the other protagonist Mandalorian characters we have, Sabine Wren from Rebels, was even part of Clan Vizsla, and she also demonstrates nothing resembling Din in the Children of the Watch's ideas of Mandalorian culture, though they all do seem to universally share a reverence for the Darksaber and the traditions attached to that. If bringing together these disparate parts of Mandalorian culture is part of Din's future, which seems like it very well may be, then him learning how to use the Darksaber is probably a pretty key element of that, as one of the few unifying symbols we've seen for Mandalorian culture between multiple shows. That's going to do it for today, though. Let me know in the comments whether you think that the Children of the Watch are a group that have kind of come out more recently in response to their defeats like I was mentioning, or do you think it's more likely that they've been around for a long time? Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.